What's up guys, it's Caitlin Bea and welcome back to my channel. I'm having one of those days where it's just like, it's as good as it's gonna get. Take me or leave me, okay? Since I started sharing my plant-based journey with you guys on my channel about 4 years ago, I cannot believe it's been 4 years. What the heck? I've had a lot of requests to do a little update and share my tangible tips on how you guys can start incorporating more plant-based meals into your diet so that it's not so drastic and crazy. I know it can be such a change from going from a standard American diet, which most of us eat, to eating completely vegan. Like, it's a lot different. So I got some tips to help you make it a little bit more seamless, a little easier, and less drastic and scary. Please keep in mind whenever you watch any food-related, lifestyle, diet-related video on YouTube or even documentaries, just keep in mind that it is not a one-size-fits-all. Like, our bodies are all so different and have different needs, and just because eating mainly plant-based has worked really well for me does not mean it's gonna work really well for you. As with any diet out there, gluten-free, paleo, all-meat diet, there's so many things out there, and it just goes to show that not every diet or lifestyle is going to work well for everybody. So it's just important to listen to your body and what it needs, and if it's something that's important to you, that's amazing, go for it. But if not, do what makes you feel good. As we have seen with my last what I eat in a day video, it can attract a lot of polarizing opinions, so please just keep that in mind. I am by no means telling you how to eat, purely just sharing my tips on what has worked well for me, and you can take one thing from this video or implement everything, whatever works for you. My first tip that I always tell like any of my friends who are interested in, eating plant-based is to have a strong why and just educate yourself as much as possible about the topic. It's important to have a strong why that you're doing this so that you can be motivated to actually do it. So being honest with yourself on why you actually want to go vegan or even just eating a plant-based diet in general is really gonna help this be so much easier for you. The top 3 reasons people go vegan are for the environment, animal welfare, and health. For me, when I was researching, I was first really initially drawn to the animal welfare because I've just always been such an animal lover, and that really like tugged on my heartstrings. I'm super passionate about all of those things. I obviously want to help the environment and animals as much as possible, but once I started seeing all the studies that have shown that veganism can benefit your health so much and help reduce certain cancers, diabetes, heart disease, that really drove me to want to stick to it. I think a good place to start is, reading up on some studies. I will link some down below, as well as some documentaries that I really love are Forks Over Knives, Cowspiracy, what's another one? What the Health, that one's a really good one too. There's just so much information out there. Some of them are gonna be more geared towards animals, some the environment, and some your health. I think it's good to get like a mix of everything. My second tip is to slowly transition. I know some people want to go like completely cold turkey overnight, and that's fine if that works for you, but I feel like for the most of us in longevity, you need to slow it down. Like for me, my goal was to not just have a fad diet, but to actually stick with this long term. And that's what helped me realize that it's okay to slow down, and this is a lifelong thing, so why would I have to go from 0 to 100 overnight? I think that's where a lot of people slip up on, is because they are really motivated, they learn all the benefits, they are just so passionate that they're just like, I cannot eat meat and dairy anymore, so they just want to give it up all overnight. And I think that's where it can get a little tricky, because you're gonna be so overwhelmed by trying to eat out for the first time and not knowing what to do, or when you're on a road trip, like what do? You weren't prepared. Like, there's so many things that go into it that can just like drive you crazy, and it'll probably cause a slip up and you're just gonna revert right back to your old diet. So for me, this took like 6 months to a year to actually like be mostly plant-based. So I first started giving up just red meat. I was a huge steak lover. That was like one of my favorite foods ever. So that was like kind of hard for me, and especially burgers. And then once I did that for, a month or 2, then I gave up other meat besides fish. Then I gave up dairy, which is actually pretty dang easy, especially with all of the alternatives and stuff these days. Like, I always loved almond milk and oat milk and stuff, but I think cheese, that was just the hardest thing, and it still is kind of hard, especially when you're eating out or holidays. Then I gave up eggs last, actually, which is probably weird, but I used to eat eggs every single morning. Like, that was my jam. I was obsessed with eggs. So that was the hardest thing for me to give up, so I gave it up last. So omit the thing that is going to be the easiest for you, whether that's dairy, red meat. Just start omitting like the easiest thing out of your diet, the thing that you like the least or eat the least or has most alternatives that you like, and then go from there and end with the hardest thing. Or alternatively, you can just start by doing meatless Mondays. And then once you've got that down, you can start by incorporating one plant-based meal a day. So there's not just like one way to do it, but I think whatever you do, just trying to slow it down and make little changes and go from there. I also think it's really helpful to find plant-based alternatives for the things you are omitting. So when you're getting rid of meat, for example, like you want to replenish those nutrients and get other sources of protein. So tempeh, tofu, nuts, legumes, and even whole grains. Like all of those are going to help keep you full and satiated. My third tip is to try Daily Harvest, and they're actually sponsoring this portion of the video. So thank you to Daily Harvest. You guys are truly the best. I first discovered Daily Harvest when I was living in LA between college and the summers, and I just didn't know how to cook. I truly was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I was just looking for things that I could just easily whip up. And this was before I even thought about going plant-based, but they deliver frozen to fresh plant-based foods straight to your door. So I just love the convenience of it all. I know a lot of you have probably heard of Daily Harvest, but for those who haven't, they have smoothies, lattes, oat bowls, chia bowls, harvest bowls, even soups. They got the goods. But it's such an easy way to get started going plant-based because it just takes all the guesswork out of cooking. You don't even have to look at the ingredients. All of their foods are plant-based, so it just makes it so much easier because when you're first going plant-based, like looking at all the ingredients at the grocery store can be incredibly overwhelming, and there's certain things that you don't even know. Like some people don't know that gelatin or all these other things are actually derived from animals, so life becomes easier. All of the ingredients are in the cup and they're frozen, and all you have to do is just heat it up or blend it up. It's kind of like meal prepping, but you don't even have to do all of the prep work. All of the ingredients are frozen, and then when you want to make it, you just blend it up or heat it right on your stovetop, and boom. Took like 30 seconds to a minute or a couple minutes, and it's the easiest thing ever. Now I just love them for the convenience of it all when I don't have time to cook or I don't want to cook. You know, those times where you're just like, I just don't want to do anything. And Daily Harvest is so much healthier than a lot of other frozen foods out there, and they taste delicious. Daily Harvest is awesome whether you're in college or not. I swear it just makes your life so much easier. Plant-based or not, they have so many good meals that are just so easy to cook. So Daily Harvest is giving you guys $25 off of your first box with code CAITLINBEA, and the link in the description box below. So go check it out and get your first box. If you do, send me a pic on Instagram so I can repost it. And it's a great way to get started on your 2020 health goals and on a budget. My fourth tip is to find your vegan swaps from the beginning. So it really helped me start incorporating more plant-based meals into my life was to find vegan alternatives for my favorite foods. So whether that be mac and cheese, I would find a dairy-free mac and cheese. If that was a burger, I'd find a vegan burger. Luckily, this is so much easier now. Like, I don't know how people did this like 10 years ago because like there was probably nothing out there at the time, like, or horrible ones, but it's gotten so much easier, guys. Like there's so many vegan alternatives out there, and they have gotten good. There are some horrible ones that you gotta navigate through, but don't let that discourage you. If you try something that is just horrible, now you know. If you love making, you know, mac and cheese here and there, get a couple different brands to start off with, because some of them you're not gonna like, and then some of them you'll find are literally like they taste the exact same. So just kind of takes trial and error. Obviously, cheese is going to be the hardest one to find a really good alternative for, but luckily they have, like, I've gotten a few that I really, really love, and I will list those down below for you guys. But other than that, it is so easy. Gardein chicken fingers are so good. I love Impossible burgers. Yes, these foods that I'm talking about are processed, but so are like the regular meat and dairy versions of them. So you gotta just have to pick your battles here. I'm not trying to talk about like being the healthiest vegan ever when you first start out, unless that's what you want to do. If you eat like a pretty clean whole food diet already, then this is gonna be easy for you. But I'm mainly just talking about if you have meat favorites that you're craving randomly, finding the vegan alternative can fulfill that craving for you and make it not so drastic of a change. Tip number 5 is to stay positive and mindful. You are doing such an amazing thing for the environment and the animals and your body by just incorporating more plant-based meals into your life as it is. So don't be so hard on yourself and think that you have to be perfect. I think that's where a lot of people get discouraged from even trying it, because you see all these, you know, hardcore vegans out there online and on YouTube videos that basically Typically, they will just rip you apart if you're not 100% perfect vegan in every aspect of the word. Obviously, veganism goes way beyond just your diet. You don't have to be perfect, you know what I mean? Like, you're doing such an amazing thing by even just incorporating some vegan meals into your life. You're already making a difference, and you should be so proud of yourself for that. I'm 4 years in, and I am not even perfect, so they can come at me. Just keep in mind that it is a journey, and especially if you're doing this for life, like, you're gonna have slip-ups, you're gonna have mistakes, and that's life. Tip number 6 is to get inspired with what I eat in a day videos. Doing this helped me so much in the beginning, and I still love watching them and just getting inspired when I feel like I'm in a rut and eating the same things like over and over and I just want to switch it up. Then I will go watch some more what I eat in a day videos or just recipe videos in general. But at first it was just so great to get inspired with some new meals, and that way I would know what to put on my grocery list. Like I didn't even know. I have some of these videos on my channel, which I will link down below. I have a playlist if you want to get inspired with some of my meals and recipes. But also if you just search like vegan what I eat in a day videos on YouTube, then you will have literally so much to work from. But going along with what I said earlier, please do not get caught up in eating or trying to follow exactly what someone else eats in a day. We all have different bodies, we all have different needs, and something that fills one person up and satiates them and makes them feel super good and energetic may be the total opposite for you. But if you're someone who knows that you might get, like that might get to your head a little bit trying to follow someone exactly, then for you, maybe I would just stick to watching recipe videos in general, because that way you can still incorporate them with whatever else you're eating. I love watching Hot for Food. She's amazing. High Carb Hannah has some really good recipes as well. Cauliflowers. They're all great. Tip number 7 is to download the Happy Cow app. Oh my gosh, you guys. I didn't even have this for like 2 years, maybe even longer, 3 years into it. I feel like I just discovered this like a year ago. I think I got this right before my Europe trip and it changed my life. Happy Cow is an app that actually shows you restaurants in your area and proximity to you that are completely vegan or vegetarian, or have at least some vegan or vegetarian options. So, oh my gosh, I cannot even tell you how helpful this was when I went to Europe. When I was in Paris, it was really difficult to find vegan options or even vegetarian options. So I used the Happy Cow app, and I actually discovered that literally right next to my Airbnb, there was a vegan deli. Like, what? So that way I could get like this big like baguette French bread sandwich, walk around with the guys and not feel like I was missing out. And I would have never known to like look for that or like find that if I didn't have this app. So it is so incredibly helpful. I highly recommend it, not even just when you're traveling, but in your everyday life. And my last tip is to always be prepared and plan your meals in advance whenever possible. I truly believe that being prepared when you are trying to go plant-based is going to make your life so much easier. It's gonna make this process so much easier, because I can't even tell you how many times when I was first trying to go plant-based that I would be like stuck in all these situations where I'd be going to a restaurant and I was like, oh my God, I have literally no options. Or especially when I would be on road trips, not being prepared is going to really stress you out, and it's probably going to cause a slip up really easily because you're just gonna be so overwhelmed with the options. It has gotten easier, like especially with some fast food places, at least having like one vegan option now. I'm so happy that like Burger King came out with one, like the Impossible Whopper. But yeah, it can be scary if you're not prepared. So always try to have at least a couple of snacks with you at all times, just in case there's nothing for you and you're gonna like panic. Also, planning your meals in advance for the week really helps if that's not something that you do already. I always like to get like a couple recipes, like one breakfast, 1 or 2 lunches, and maybe like 2 or 3 dinners for the week. And that way I can try to find meals that have, you know, the same ingredients-ish that I can, you know, keep using. But if you're prepared and have all of your meals planned for the week, then you're gonna be less likely to go in your fridge and be like, I have no idea what to pair with this. This isn't gonna be a full meal. Like it's gonna cause stress. So plan your meals in advance. If you can, set aside like 1 to 2 hours on a Sunday or whatever day is convenient for you to meal prep for the week. That saves so much time and hassle from like trying to figure out what you're gonna eat for the week. And again, Daily Harvest is great for this because you can just literally grab what you want, go. Those are my top tips on how to start incorporating more plant-based meals into your life. I hope this video helped you guys if you are just interested in it at all or are just trying to meet some health goals in 2020. And don't forget to use code CAITLINBEA for $25 off your first Daily Harvest box using the link down below. Other than that, I hope you guys have a fabulous day, and I will see you in my next one. Mwah!